Hello everybody, my name is MLRXQ and I am here doing a video about the Reaper Elite Specialization. Nash has asked me to make this video as she hasn't played the Reaper at all, and she's been kind of maining the Tempest during this beta weekend we've just recently had here. So I'm going to go over the skills and abilities that the Reaper has with it, and see if it's something that you guys enjoy. So far my personal opinion on the Reaper is it's a lot more fun for me opposed to what the classic Necromancer did. This one here is very melee based, and it is just, go straight in there and just attack, and basically have a lot of cleave abilities and fun with that sort of thing. It's a lot different from what the Necromancer was. They basically set out to do that. You basically use a great sword, so you're up close and personal all the time, and a lot of their attacks are very chilled based, so there's a lot of conditions. I'm sure everyone's heard about that already when they revealed the Reaper initially, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've been doing a lot of verdant brink and basically being able to hold my own out there without having too many issues, as well as I've done a few rounds of PvP as well, which are actually going to be up on Nash's channel if they aren't already. And I had a lot of fun in the PvP as well. I've never done that well with a class before, especially a class I really haven't played too much of. So it was a lot of fun charging in there and just laying waste to everything like a Reaper should be. But anyways, let's get right into this here, and we'll go look at the trait lines to start with. So I have Reaper down over here. When you select it, obviously you get to choose the full line. But we're going to start off with the first one here, which is Reaper's Shroud. So what this does is this actually replaces the Death Shroud that comes with the original Necromancer if you don't go into the Elite Specialization of the Reaper. So this one here gives you a whole new set of attacks, and we'll be going into those a little bit later. The next line here is Augury of Death, so your shouts recharge faster for each foe they hit. Next one down is Chilling Nova, so critical hits against chilled foes cause an explosion that chills adjacent foes. So basically with this one here is you're going to be able to do the 2¼ second chill, and if there's other enemies nearby, you're actually going to be able to chill them as well. I went into this one here with Relentless Pursuit, so it reduces duration of movement impairing conditions, and additional reduction while in Reaper's Shroud. This one here, so this one reduces the immobilize, cripple, and chilled effects, and the reason I chose this is because there's a lot of conditions in Verdant Brink, and a lot of immobilizes, knockdowns, things like that, and cripples, and I wanted to reduce that as much as possible so I could actually, run around and actually enjoy myself and not be limping away trying to find new and fun things to do while I'm there. Next one here is going to be Shivers of Dread. So whenever you inflict fear, you also chill. So there isn't as many fears if you go with the pure, with all the new abilities, including the utility skills. There's not as many fears available, but the Reaper still does have a few fears at their disposal. So if you're wanting to do that, you can actually chill them when they're being feared, and then you can chase them down and keep attacking them while they're running away. Next line here is Soul Eater. So greatsword attacks steal health. When Gravedigger hits a foe, all of the greatsword skills recharge by a small amount. Next line here is Chilling Victory. So striking a chilled foe grants might and life force. So basically when I was running around, I actually have one of my utility skills, which I'll be going over in a little bit later on in this video here. I was running while I was getting 4, 5, 6 stacks of might just kind of out of nowhere. And I honestly thought it was Nash on her Tempest, which of course she did. I have quite a few might stacking things there, but running around and just being solo and doing this and seeing random might things, I was like, what's going on? But it actually goes hand in hand with one of the utility skills that the Reaper has, and it actually can stack up might quite quickly. Sadly, it isn't a party-based buff. It is only a Reaper buff, so they're the only ones who actually get the might. But it does help quite a lot, and it's a fun thing to see when you are fighting enemies and getting stronger and stronger as you're hitting them. Next one down is Decimate Defenses. So striking a foe with vulnerability increases your critical hit chance. So this is really good as well because there is a ton of vulnerability attacks on the Reaper. So you can do quite a lot of damage if you do straight into this. So in the end, yes, it is personal preference, and I'm no master of the traits and the meta and everything like that. So I just kind of go with what I feel I like to use. But this one here would definitely be useful in a lot of ways as well. So moving right along here, we get the next one is Cold Shoulder. So chills last longer, and chilled foes deal less damage to you. So like I said a little bit earlier, the Reaper does have a lot of chill at their disposal, so this is a very nice thing to have along with that, because you take less damage, and they are staying chilled for a lot longer. So really it's a win-win in that sense. The last one here, so it's Blighter's Boon. So gain life force when you gain a boon. If you're in Reaper Shroud, gain health instead. So that's a very good one. I actually haven't tried it yet, but it does seem like it has quite a lot of bonuses to it, especially with life force being as important as it is with the Reaper Shroud, as it is a large portion of your damage. The next one here is Deathly Chill. So chills deal damage with additional damage to foes below the health threshold. And the next one here is Reaper's Onslaught. So attack faster while in Reaper's Shroud. Killing a foe recharges Death Charge. So basically Death Charge is one of the attacks that the Reaper has when you're in Reaper's Shroud, which I will be going over in a little bit here. And the attack speed, since it is your main damage doer, you want to stay in Reaper's Shroud as much as possible. And having attack speed increase of 15% is going to be huge when you're in the middle of a big fight, especially in PvP if there's a group fight going on. So that's basically the Reaper line. I found that Soul Reaping itself, this trait up here, actually coincided quite well with the Reaper line as well, because you can actually have in here where the Reaper Shroud lasts longer, so your life force goes down a lot slower, which I'm sure is similar to what the Death Shroud was like as well. But that's very nice to have. It goes hand in hand with the Reaper specialization quite nicely. So now that we're done with the trait line itself, let's go through the attacks. So the first one here is going to be just your regular auto attack. So the first one's going to be a Dusk Strike, so it's a cleave. So you attack multiple foes in front of you. Second one is Fading Twilight. So again, it does the same thing, it just hits the foes in front of you, but does a little bit more damage. The last one is going to be Chilling Scythe. So this one here is where the chilled finally comes into play. So you can do this, and if you're in the Reaper specialization, you'll actually be able to make this last longer than it should in the first place. So you're going to slow them down, and you are going to do more damage in that process. Next in the line here is going to be Gravedigger. So this is the big attack that has a lot of uses, doesn't have a very long cooldown, and it can do quite a lot of damage in certain situations. So it's basically perform a huge swing that deals heavy damage. Recharges faster if it hits a downed or low health foe. So, if you can see there, the health threshold is 50%, so if you use Gravedigger on an enemy who is below 50% health, it's going to do a little bit more damage, and it will recharge faster. So that 5-second cooldown will be reduced by a little bit more. I use this quite a bit in PvP with a downed foe, because it does quite a decent amount of damage when they're downed, and it also isn't really a loss because it's going to recharge almost instantaneously for you. So this is definitely a very nice attack to have, and it does have a bit of a cast time, but a lot of people have been complaining about the cast times on the Reaper, but I personally think that they're fine for what they do, because how they attack, they do quite a lot of damage while they're attacking, and they don't take too much damage in return, because like I said, if you are utilizing the chill abilities, they're not going to be doing as much damage to you in any way. Next on the line here is Death Spiral. So conjure a drill of dark energy on your blade and render the armor of foes in front of you. So this is going to be a huge vulnerability stacker for you. So it does 12 stacks on its own. And so that's going to obviously increase your damage, because they'll be taking more damage because of the vulnerability on there. This one here is actually hits multiple times as well. So it's hit 6 times, as it says right there. And if you hit someone directly, it'll do some damage for sure, and it's quite a nice attack. I've used it quite a lot as well. Next one down the line here is going to be Nightfall. So call down a growing cone of shadows that damages and conditions foes on every pulse. This one here is a stationary skill, so it doesn't follow you. So if you're in obviously in PvE, a lot of the enemies don't move when they're fighting you, they just stand in one spot. So this one here is very nice to do because it inflicts blindness, and it also cripples them. So they are going to be a lot slower, and if they do try to run away, you're going to be able to take them on. But the blindness is very nice because obviously they can't hit you when they're doing that. So this is definitely a very nice attack, and it also does damage as well while they're standing in it. So against a stationary foe, even if they're immobilized or anything like that, this is a great attack to drop down, as it'll just be an extra bit of damage that's getting put onto the enemy for you. The lasting one here is going to be Grasping Darkness. So conjure claws of darkness from the shadows to attack foes. Apply condition to them and pulling them to you. Gain life force for each struck foe. So this one here is really nice as well if someone's a little bit farther away from you and you need to get them closer. You use this, it'll actually grab them and pull them towards you while also inflicting poison for you. So they're already, before the fight even starts, they're going to be knocked down for just while they stand up anyway, and then they also have poison on them. So it's a great attack to start off with, and then you can start dropping that. Like I said, you can use whichever combinations you want, but I usually do this, then 4, and then 3, and kind of so on and so forth, right? So this is the main stat set with the Greatsword. Now moving on to the utility and elites. So the new heal, I'm only going to be going over the new heals. I won't be going over any of the other specs or anything like that because the Necromancer has been around for a while. But the heal skill for the Reaper is going to be Your Soul is Mine. So shout and heal yourself and strike foes around you, absorbing life force from each foe struck. So this one here is a very limited heal, I guess you could say. It's more of an offensive heal, so you do damage when you use it. And it's better to use when there's more enemies around you because you will gain more life force and you will also gain more health. So it is a bit of a risky one because you will gain very little health if there's only one enemy around. You're not going to gain much, but that's the point of trying to keep your your life force as high as possible so that you're actually able to turn into that, as it is a second health pool along with what Death Shroud used to be. So this heal is fun. I've been using it just because in Verdant Brink there is a lot of enemies that are constantly on top of you, so if you are getting a lot of damage done, you just use this, you'll get most of your health back, and your life force will skyrocket as well, so you can switch into Reaper form as quickly as possible. So earlier I was talking about the that might stacking that I was randomly getting when I wasn't really paying attention. This skill here is You Are All Weaklings. So shout damages foes around you, inflicting conditions on them and granting you boons per struck foe. So this one here does damage, it causes weakness, and it also itself gives you might and stability. So along with this already getting 4 stacks of might, I have that trait in my Reaper Shroud that actually allows me to boost that up even higher because I'm hitting foes with this attack. So depending on the amount of foes I hit with my shout, I'm actually gaining more might on top of that. So a lot of times with, obviously help with the Tempest when Nash was playing on hers, we were constantly running around, or I was constantly running around at about 20 to 25 stacks of might, just by running into each battle. So that was really nice to have, and it's a very useful skill when you're fighting a lot of enemies, as they do a lot of damage to you, so it's nice to be able to have that might to be able to do more damage to them. The next one in the Reaper for the new shouts is Suffer. So shout damages foes around you and chill them. Transfer conditions to each foe you strike. So it puts chills on them, and it also transfers one condition that you have to the enemy. So this is kind of a nice change of pace from what most Necromancers are. I'm no professional with Necros or anything like that, but I am enjoying the Reaper part of it. But usually most Necromancers attacks give yourself conditions to help other people out, but this one here you're actually transferring conditions, so that's super helpful to have, and it's got decently large range as well, so that's helpful. Next down the line is Nothing Can Save You. So damage foes around you, converting their boons into vulnerability. Your attacks become unblockable for a short time. The duration increases based on the number of foes struck. So this is going to be good, and again in PvP with large team fights, you can actually cause a lot of vulnerability, and it can hit a lot of people at once, as well as large fights in PvE as well, right? So this is definitely nice to have, because of course they're going to be taking more damage when you start swinging after you use this attack. Next one down the line here is going to be Chilled to the Bone. So freeze all enemies around you, inflicting conditions on them. Gain boons for each foe you freeze. So I personally haven't used this one. I've been using the, I forget what it's called already. Lich Form. I've been using Lich Form just because, it's fun and does a lot of damage. I used it for PvP mainly because it's just an extra bit of damage when I'm not in my Reaper Shroud, so it's just a nice thing to have. But this one here, basically what it does damage, it chills for quite a while, and it also gives you stability. So it's definitely a very nice lead. It has a huge cooldown. The only downside to it is if people do have that ability to stun break or anything like that, it's not the greatest, but especially with that length of cooldown. But again, it comes down to personal preference. I'm no master of PvP or anything like that, so I don't really know in that sense. I'm just kind of letting you guys know what the abilities do and how they work. So that's basically the elite specialization there, and the main attacks and new utility skills that the Reaper possesses. Next on the line will be the Reaper's Shroud. with this one here, it is just like Death Shroud, so it does deteriorate over time and when you do attacks and everything like that. So it will be a little bit problematic in that sense, but you do gain life force every time you hit as well, so you can prolong this a lot longer. And like I said, with that reaping trait, I forget what it's called here, soul reaping, it actually lasts longer, so your pool actually goes down a lot slower. So we'll quickly go through these abilities as well and see if I can go through it fast enough that the abilities won't, or my life force won't disappear. So let's go ahead and turn into the Reaper here. As you can see, it's quite a nice look for him. So first attack is just going to be Life Rend. So it's going to inflict burning, and it's also going to give you might. Next one down here is Death's Charge, so we're going to go down over here, and basically it's a attack that knocks you through. It's also a gap closer, so that's always nice. Infusing Terror is one of those fears I was mentioning to you, and it also gives you stability. And it also is a blast, so you can actually knock it away to do the fear. This one here is my favorite attack. It's Soul Spiral. It does a lot of damage, and it's a cleave, so there's a lot of enemies nearby. It's going to do a lot. And this one here, Executioner's Scythe, does a lot of damage as well. My life force is going to run out, so you can take a look at that there, and it is gone. I'm not fighting enemies, so I wasn't able to actually keep it going any longer, so hopefully you guys were able to actually read what that one was, and kind of got a good look at what that can do. So what we might do now is we might actually head over to, I actually don't even know where we're going to go. Maybe we'll just go into Verdant Brink here quick if I can see it. I don't know why I can't see it. There we go. And maybe we'll just try and run around and kind of see what the Reaper can do. There's a little bit, Verdant Brink, there's a lot of enemies in this area that can do a lot of damage, so I'm not sure if a lot of the places I like to avoid are the smoke scales, I think they're called. They do the new Revenant attack that Shiro can do, and they actually teleport through the mists and do a ton of damage, so it's quite frustrating. So are these Pocket Raptors. But I'm just going to go ahead and try and get myself some life force here, so I can actually go into the Reaper form again. And go show you. Look at that, there's a Reaper over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kill a few Pocket Raptors so I can actually get my abilities up, and then go into Death Shroud and show you guys how everything works. So I'm going to go ahead with the open and grab them all to us. Gain 2 stacks of might from that. Do a charge, and I have 18 stacks of might now, just from using one charge, or from one of my shouts. So that's very helpful and very nice to have, especially with enemies who don't die that quickly like the Pocket Raptors do. But now that I have full soul, my life force, is full, I can go ahead and see if I can find an enemy to actually fight. They're kind of hard to find sometimes. They're kind of annoying because I was trying to make the video here initially, but I kept getting attacked, so I couldn't actually have any fun with showing everybody. But what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, down through over here, and see if I can get over here. There we go. Doesn't look like there's anything over here either, though. That's not a big deal, though. We're just going to go into this cave here, and I'm going to immediately go into Reaper Shroud, just so I can show you kind of more what that stuff is. Most of these attacks here are we've gone over quite well. I might open up with, so let's grab them here, which I missed, and I'll go ahead and use Gravedigger and the cleave there that does quite a bit of damage. And we're going to go on in here now, and we're going to go into Reaper form. So there is a bit of a cooldown when you go in and out of it, but it is nice to be able to go in and out as you want, so you can save the actual life force. So there is a 6-second cooldown, but that's not too bad considering you want to be able to be in Reaper Shroud as much as possible, as it is your main damage doer. The Greatsword is great for doing getting those initial conditions put onto them and being able to wear them down a little bit, but in the end you are going to want to savor the Death Shroud as much as you can. So, and as you can see that the Gravedigger does hit quite hard, and since it was on a he was below 50% health, the cooldown was virtually non-existent. I was actually able to use it again immediately. So let's pull these guys in here. Go ahead and shout on them, get myself 12 stacks of might, and then we can use Executioner's Scythe again, and then Death's or Soul Spiral, and pretty much take these guys out almost immediately. So that's basically it. I'm going to go back into the Reaper form just so everyone can see the Executioner's Scythe, which I didn't get a really good chance to show initially. But it does damage at 50% or above, and damage below 50%, it actually does more damage. So it is quite nice in that sense there, and it also creates this chill. Oh, and I ran out of Life Force again. But it's not a big deal. Do that, and I get two, not even like a split second recharge on that. So that's basically it for the Reaper. I've been playing this a lot and actually having a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've had this much fun with a class, especially a light armor class, which I'm not the greatest with. So it is nice to see a class that can hold its own and actually do quite a lot of damage in the process. So that will be it for the Reaper. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time. Talk to you later. Bye.